I have an exciting guest here that you're going to love. Her name is Ayla Stewart, also known as Wife with a Purpose. She's a blogger, YouTuber, and writer for newmediacentral.net. Newmediacentral.net. And I wanted to talk to Ayla about White History Month and the attack on white people. Ayla, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here, and I absolutely appreciate your support. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, thank you.
Happy White History Month. How are you feeling about White History Month?
Yes, happy White History Month. I'm feeling wonderful about it. And I'm so glad that this is something that you chose to do on your radio show to kind of bring awareness to these issues. I think it's fabulous, and you picked the perfect month.
I know it is. It just feel right. It's the right month to celebrate white history. You were the first to report on my White History Month the day I announced it. Thank you for that. What type of response have you gotten?
Well, overwhelmingly positive in the circles that I run in, and the people that usually read what I write. We were all really excited. I tune into your show every day. And when you announced that it was White History Month, I thought, there we go. This is breaking news. I really need to cover this. And I have just seen so much support all online for what you're doing and for this whole month.
Why have white Americans been afraid to start or celebrate White History Month?
Oh, there's so many reasons, but really, I think it starts in the public schools when we're little. We've been really shamed as a race and a people to not appreciate our own heritage and be able to talk about that and to talk about being proud or happy or content with our ancestors and our culture and where we come from and what we've done as a people. And so we've just really been conditioned into this kind of suicidal tendency, culturally suicidal tendency of like hating ourselves. And so most white people that hear anything positive about white culture, history, or the white race immediately kind of have this reflexive reaction of negativity.
You know, I was at the gym the other day, and I've been saying to the folks at the gym, Happy White History Month. And so far, everybody's really happy about it. But then I said it to another white guy the other day. He said, "That's stupid. I didn't know there was a White History Month. That's stupid." And I'm thinking, why would he call his own White History Month stupid? And that's probably due to the false guilt and the fear and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Definitely it's the false guilt, like I just said, that we're raised with, but then also, like you touched on, it's the fear. I mean, it is the absolute terror that white people face. We cannot be called racist in the slightest. Like, even if you use the word thug, you're considered a racist. You'll lose your job. You'll be expelled from your family, your society, your church. It's just ridiculous nowadays.
That's amazing. Have you ever had, or do you have that fear?
Well, I kind of used to have it. I'm not a fearful person by nature, but I really got over that last year because I did have an experience like that. I wrote a mommy blog about how rap music and thug ghetto culture is destructive, and particularly it's destructive for white suburban kids.
Yes.
And I was called in the international press, the UK Daily Mail and the New York Post and all of this. I was called a racist and a bigot and a horrible person for saying that. So I had to get over that fear right then and there pretty quick.
Nice. What I want people to realize is that in life we have good and evil, right versus wrong. And the children of the lie, they hate the truth. They hate the children of the truth. And so, and that's not a bad thing, because if you learn how to deal with the issues of life without resenting it, you get better in life. So I want white people to understand, if they don't take a stand, if they don't start standing up, then eventually they're going to be completely overtaken by the children of the lie.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with you. And I encourage anybody that has had an experience like this, whether it's in the press, such as my experience was, or even just something at school or at church or at work, to just remember that, Christ Christ told us that we would be persecuted,
Yes.
that we would be treated this way when we speak the truth. And so just to remember that and to kind of get over that fear, use it as an opportunity to grow as an individual and grow deeper in your relationship with God and Christ, and just be strong and keep telling the truth. Don't back down. Don't cower.
That's right. You were a liberal at one time.
Yes, a very long time ago, over a decade ago. So I caution to even use that term now because liberal means something so much different than it did even 10 years ago. But yes, I was.
I've noticed that people, men and women of all races, when they start out in life as a liberal and they overcome that, they become really strong conservatives.
Yes, definitely. That's what happened to me. You know, I got married, I started having a few children, and I realized that the whole liberal thing was just nonsense and it was a lie. And when I did find the truth and became a Christian and then developed conservative values from there, I became very staunch in those values and very passionate about them.
Well, thank you for having white babies because
Oh, thank you.
my concern is if white people become the minority and people of color take over, this country will become a S-hole country.
Yes, I have a similar concern, and it's happening worldwide. It isn't just America. White people all over the world, you know, whether it's Australia or Sweden or Germany or, you know, anywhere, Canada, we're not having babies. And so that is a huge part of my message and what I try to do, because I think it's twofold. I think, to continue our lineage and our heritage is really great in a way to honor our ancestors and keep our country strong. But also you grow so much as an individual when you have children, and you really, these liberals nowadays that just have dogs and go to Starbucks and that's their whole life, they don't ever learn any of those values that God intended us to learn through the having of children and having of multiple children and raising them in a traditional way.
Absolutely. And speaking of white history, you researched a white history hero, Christopher Columbus, and you were hated for that, right?
Oh, yes. I got a lot of blowback for that. I'm a homeschooling mom of my 6 kids. And when my oldest son kind of got to be about 10 or 11 and Columbus became an issue in our homeschooling, I thought, well, I've got to find out the truth about this guy. And so I did a lot of research. I read his logs, and I really encourage people to do that. You can go to your local library. Most libraries have a copy. Columbus himself wrote down as he was going on his journey what his motivations were, what his intentions were, how he felt about the native peoples. He absolutely loved and adored the native peoples and did not want them treated badly at all. He was a very strong Christian Catholic man who really, first and foremost, was not seeking gold, but was seeking to convert the natives to Christianity. And to do so with love as well. And when I looked into this and I felt, oh my goodness, I'd been lied to in public school. I'd been told that he was this horrible, racist, evil person and that we shouldn't have Columbus Day. It should be Indigenous Peoples Day and all of that. And so I was absolutely shocked, and I did a video about it and wrote a blog about it and got a lot of negative response from that as well.
I noticed that Christopher Columbus is really hated. Now I understand why, because they're being taught this in the schools. And so that's all they know. I've seen around the country, they throw red paint on his statue and all that. And so this is happening in the school system, educational system about this man.
Yes, 100%. This is one of the reasons that I choose to homeschool, and my husband and I make a lot of sacrifices so that I can homeschool our 6 children, because we didn't want them indoctrinated with this kind of liberal propaganda. And it is anti-white, but one of the things that's also first and foremost is anti-God. So any person, whether they're, no matter what color they are, if they're a person of God, they're going to be smeared and tarnished in our current public school system, and children are going to be lied to about who they really were. And so it's been a passion of mine and something I feel is really important to homeschool my kids and let them know what the truth is about these people.
They throw red paint on his statue because they are trying to imply that he has blood on his hands, and the red paint represents blood.
Yeah, exactly. And it's their normal tactic is just to be as gross and disgusting as they can be as well. They want to use blood and body fluids, or it's like when they wear the pink pussy hats and all of these sort of things. they want to be as gross and vile and disgusting as possible to get their message across, which really tells you all you need to know about them and their message.
Yeah, that's the nature of the children of the lie because their father is that way. I've often said, Ayla, that parents who sacrifice their children to the public school system today don't really love their children. I would do whatever it takes to take my kids out, work with the neighborhood or somebody to prevent that from happening. What do you think about that?
Oh, I agree 100%. I think that there is really no more crucial an issue right now for Christians, conservatives, and for white people. If you fall under any of those labels, you definitely have to remove your children from the public school system as it exists today. It is it's just a warehouse of liberal indoctrination. That's all it has become.
It sure is. What's your blog post?
Yeah, whiteforthepurpose.com is where everybody can find my blog and information. Yeah.
You have 6 kids?
Yes, I do.
Amazing.
Thank you.
That is so nice.
I love it. I love every second of it. My oldest is 15. My youngest is 1.
That's nice. You are a Mormon, right?
Well, I don't talk about my religious affiliation anymore, but yes, I was a Mormon at one point, but I am a Christian. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And the reason I ask because I know that the one thing that they do encourage is having a lot of kids, getting married, big family. And
yes.
I remember growing up, it was like that in the black community as well. We just believed in big family. I came from, in my family, I have 7 sisters, and I had 5 brothers, but 3 of them have expired, but 7 sisters and 5 brothers. And so
that's wonderful.
Yeah. I'm a family person. I love big families.
Yes, me too. You learn so much growing up in a big family and being a mother, father of a large family. There's so much that God wants to teach us through families.
That's right. One of your sons read my book, From Raised to Responsibility, and did a project. I am so happy about that. Tell him thanks. I really appreciate him doing that. And we have a picture of it, I think. How did that come about?
Well, we listen to your show every day. It's part of our homeschooling. We listen to at least the first hour, Monday through Friday, to kind of start out our homeschooling day. And then we have prayer and kind of get into more of our book work. But so we'd heard about your book all the time when we were listening. And so I had my 15-year-old read it a few months ago. And when we were doing our final projects for the year, he decided to do a final project on your book. And so he did kind of a little diorama and, he wrote a little report on it and everything. It was really fun.
Yeah, tell him thanks so much. I really appreciate that. I want to ask, what's your impression of men today?
Oh, unfortunately, they've just been completely feminized, weakened. Most of them, not all.
That's right.
Have been just made subservient to this feminist tyranny that we live under right now in our society.
And is it something that they can overcome?
Yes, 100%. I always encourage men that ask me about this, be a rock, be a harbor in the tempest, be a strong foundation for all of the craziness around you. Let the storms rage and beat against you, but be strong and immovable and become a man again. Work out, eat right, do right by your wife and children, be a good father, engage your mind, and play chess, read books, all of these things. Don't eat soy.
That's right.
These sorts of things, and really work on cultivating your manhood again. And that really includes not letting your wife, your sisters, your mother, all of these women in your life push you around. Be firm and immovable. Yeah.
And just to add to that, when they start out, they're going to be afraid. They're going to be weak because they, allowed themselves to become weak. But if you stay with it and let that anger go and stay with it, you eventually become strong. It will change.
Yes, exactly.
My last question, I think, here is: you are hated by some of the alt-right. Is that true, and why is that?
Hated by some on the alt-right. Yes, I guess because I am not, I guess I don't align with a lot of their beliefs in some ways. It just is something as simple as coming on, your show or something like this. I mean, I have Black friends. I have lots of family of different races, and I'm not for a pure white ethno state. That's not my agenda. So those that are don't agree with me, I suppose.
I have interviewed some of them, and they are making the same mistake that Black people have made, and that they're angry due to their weakness, but they're blaming the Jews, they're blaming Blacks, they're blaming others for their failure. And when you do that, you don't get anywhere in life by doing that. You have to overcome. You have to speak up, but don't resent. And overcome instead of blaming.
Yes, exactly. It's been unfortunate that some of the more far-right conservative politics has become a little bit like just the white version of Black Lives Matter. And that's something that I'm kind of speaking out about and saying, like, we can't fall into that trap of I'm a victim of another group of people or whatever. And it's fine to talk about problems as they come up and if an individual, does something, but not to sit around and complain like we're victims.
That's right. You have literally made my day. You are a tough lady, and it's because you love what's right. And whenever men and women love what's right, you can't help but become tough. So thank you for standing for good, for truth, for family, and for the country.
Thank you so much. And I can say the same to you. I'm so inspired by all of your work.
I appreciate that. And your blog post again?
wifewithapurpose.com.
Thank you again, and say hello to the kids for me and to your son that did the book report.
I sure will. Thank you so much.
All right. God bless you.
God bless you too.
All right. Amazing. I need you all to subscribe, support us on Patreon, like us on Facebook, and follow me on Twitter.
Got it.